I was so scared of being one of those deadbeat dads that I judge myself a lot. Like any criticism, any critique, anything I don't do perfectly, I'm like, oh no, I'm one of those bad dads, even if it's unconscious. So there's this pressure to be the perfect dad. And the problem with that, doing and serving from that space, is that we end up violating ourselves. We end up helping and serving for the wrong reason. So one of the things I'm learning is when I say yes to something and I start doing it and I start feeling resentful, I realize, oh shoot, I didn't actually want to do this. I should have said no. I can stop it right then. I can train myself to be like, hey, I know I said I'd do this and I started it, but I actually really don't want to do this. I'm going to do this other thing instead, and let her know the situation. But not keep doing it out of resentment just because I started it. And that really trained me to say no earlier next time, or really checking in, when I'm asked to do something, do I really want to do that from a place of joy? Is there a place of giving that I have? Do I have enough to give that? And do I want to do that? That is a yes.
We are dedicated.
We are dedicated, radically activated, a family man with a plan and not faded, elevated, work and life integrated, my woman celebrated, get educated on the way to stay dedicated.
We're dedicated.
Dads, I want to talk about boundaries. Now, this is a tough one because there's so much pressure on dads to do more, to help more, to not leave mom alone, right? To do our part. There's all this pressure in society. Dads are deadbeat dads and we don't help, and moms do all the work and all that stuff, which is all totally true. Women do too much work and don't have enough support, and there are dads who genuinely don't help enough. If you're listening to this, I'm betting you are not one of those dads. I'm betting that you, like I was, passionately want to do your part. You're committed to being the best dad you can be. You want to serve your family. You judge those other dads. And probably for me, I was so scared of being one of those deadbeat dads that I judge myself a lot. Any criticism, any critique, anything I don't do perfectly, I'm like, oh no, I'm one of those bad dads, even if it's unconscious. So there's this pressure to be the perfect dad. And the problem with that, doing and serving from that space, is that we end up violating ourselves. We end up helping and serving for the wrong reason. And I just did an episode on feeling unappreciated, which is essentially we often feel unappreciated, and that's because we have been sacrificing ourselves, because we're doing things for the recognition, whether it's our partners or even ourselves recognition, rather than out of the joy of serving. And we've been kind of white knuckling it, going to work and doing all the money, doing the money thing and forcing ourselves through that, coming home, doing the chores that we can do, helping with the kids, trying to support our wife. And then all she has is some kind of criticism for us, which is maddening, of course. And I know it all too well. So what I'm working with here is how to serve my family from a place of joy and presence, similar to if I was going to make my wife tea. Here, I'm making you tea. I'm making it for her. And then if she says, oh, I want one more teaspoon of honey in it, I'm like, okay, great. Here's another piece of honey. Enjoy. And I don't take that as a criticism, and I don't get mad if she's like, thank you so much for making me this tea. So if I can serve from a place like that. But the only way to do that is to be able to have boundaries, to be able to say no to doing something that doesn't feel fully in alignment at the time, whether I don't have the energy left. I'm going to be resentful if I do this. It's on top of something I'm already doing. I'm already in the middle of something else. I'm having to go do this now. And for a long time, I thought if my wife asked for something, I had to do it. Both. I was trained this as a husband before being a dad. A woman wants something, you do it for her, she might leave. Or at the very least, she might get mad at me, which was the worst thing ever, for my wife to be mad at me. And not every man is like that, but that was my kind of anxious attachment style approach, was I want to please her. And I want to tell her yes all the time. Now, she learned boundaries a lot earlier than me. She also struggled with boundaries. Women also very much struggle with boundaries because they're taught they have to serve and they have to do everything for their man and for their family. And so boundaries are really tough. She learned them and is very good at them now. And it was very hard for me to hear her tell me no to things that if she asked me to do, I would do. But then if I ask her to do it, she won't do it. And in fact, it might have even been the same thing that day. Like we'll be in bed and she'll ask me to go get something for her that she forgot. And I'm like, why can't you just fucking get your own damn thing? But if I were laying in bed, it's like, hey, could you go give me my eye mask I forgot on the table? She'd be like, no, get it yourself. She's better at boundaries than that. And also she serves all day and is tired of serving. And men, we have the opportunity to enjoy serving because we weren't trained from birth to serve as much as women did. So that's a whole nother episode on social conditioning. But ultimately, boundaries. She got better at them than me, and I would get resentful at her for having such good boundaries. So I started learning them from her, from book. There's a great book called The Book of Boundaries that I highly recommend. We'll put it in the show notes. And the big thing about boundaries is a couple things. One of them is a boundary is something I am going to do if something doesn't change. A boundary isn't stop doing that. That's not a boundary. I can't make somebody stop doing that. A boundary is if you keep hitting me, I'm going to put you down. That'd be one for a kid. Or for my wife, just last night, I want to connect with you. The way we're talking doesn't feel connecting. If we can't change the way this is feeling, I'm gonna leave. And then she proceeded to say something that was even worse than what she was saying before. And I was like, okay, I'm out. And I had to walk away, right? So I was like, I can't change her behavior, but I can affect my behavior. And just set that boundary. And so that's a big practice with boundaries, is thinking about how we say what we're going to do if something's not going to change. And this is not a threat. I'm not going to punish her. If you don't stop doing this, I'm going to hit you, it's really that, like, I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to keep my own boundary by leaving, by walking away, by choosing a different strategy. So that's one way to set a boundary. When we're asked to do something we don't want to do, that's a simple no. And some people say no is a one-word sentence. You don't have to always explain it. To our wives, to our kids, probably helpful to explain it. But we don't need to apologize for saying no. We can say, no, I don't really want to do that right now. I'm in the middle of this thing. If there's a way I could do it, like, no, not right now. I'm open to doing that later. My wife was offered to babysit our niece, which she often does. And I'm basically in charge of Della when that happens. And she's watching our niece and I'm playing with Della. I'm doing other things around the house. And she says, hey, she's got a poopy diaper. Will you change the diaper for me? And I was always in charge of the poop when Della was a baby, but I really didn't want to do this one. Not because it was poopy, but just because I was in the middle of something else and I had not agreed to watch this baby. And I was really afraid to tell her no to this. I was like, if I don't do this, she's going to judge me and I'm not helpful and I don't care about my niece and blah, blah, blah. But I've been practicing this. So I said, no, I'm in the middle of this. I don't want to do that now. And she was like, okay. And she went and changed the diaper. I blew my mind. I was like, what? She's not going to be mad at me? And that's what turned out when I started setting boundaries, that a lot of the reaction I was afraid of either didn't happen. Like I just said no. And she's like, all right. Or the maybe quarter of the time that she got irritated, it wasn't that big a deal. She get mad at me. Why will you do this for me? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, here you're irritated. But knowing that I didn't violate myself, knowing that I said no, even though she was mad, actually felt better than violating myself and doing something resentfully. If I'd gone and changed that diaper, the whole time I would have been like, "There's a stupid diaper, and she invited her over. I didn't agree to this. And why am I changing? She's, I'm watching Dylan, and so like that energy is so much worse for both of us. My wife doesn't want that resentment either. She would much rather me tell her no and be clean about it, even if she's disappointed or mad or whatever, than have me do it out of resentment. So that's one of the biggest ways I know if I didn't set a boundary, so I'm doing something and I'm in resentment. So one of the things I'm learning is when I say yes to something and I start doing it and I start feeling resentful, I realize, oh shoot, I didn't actually want to do this. I should have said no. I can stop it right then. I can train myself to be like, hey, I know I said I'd do this and I started it, but I actually really don't want to do this. I'm going to do this other thing instead and let her know the situation. But not keep doing it out of resentment just because I started it. And that really trained me to say no earlier next time, or really checking in, like when I'm asked to do something, do I really want to do that from a place of joy? Is there a place of giving that I have? Do I have enough to give that? And do I want to do that? That is a yes, right? And learning to ask myself, do I want to do that or not? Rather than, is it my obligation? Do I have to do it? Now, there's a lot of things that are obligations that we don't love doing. There are a lot of the poopy diapers of the world that we have to do. And so this is a very fine balance between serving enough, like doing our part at home, and knowing when we've gone too far and we're now resentful and empty. It's a very, very tricky balance that every man, every family has to learn. And this is where the fair play model is absolutely critical for dads. It's great for moms, but it's really critical for dads, because this system of household management ensures that you know exactly what your role is at home, and she knows exactly what her role is, and that it's even, it's fair. That's why it's called fair play. It makes several hours to implement, but it's very, very worth it. I think every couple needs this, and a lot of moms say they need it because they want the men to help more. But I'm telling you, dads, this has been so liberating for me to know exactly how I can serve at home. So I also know when I'm done. So I know, hey, I've done all my chores. I've done all my part. I can go out. I can have some self-care. I can have some what they call unicorn space, which is this doing, for me is making costumes. I have time to go make my costumes because I've done all my chores. And then if my wife asks for my help, I can decide, do I want to help her or not? Because she's overwhelmed, and it's fine to take one of her cards to do her job for her. She takes some of mine sometimes as well. But if I really don't want to, I can say no, knowing that I'm doing my part, that I'm not a bad dad, and I'm not, saying no to everything she asks for. And so that's where self-care and having more self-care time, more me time, actually the fair play model is liberating for that, because it allows me to set boundaries and say no to extra things and create time for myself and create time for my wife. My wife has more time via the fair play model because there's no more duplication. We're ending duplication, and that really helps to free up time and to make it easier to set boundaries. So, one warning about boundaries is when you first start setting them, they might get mad more often. If you've never had boundaries and you start saying no to people, they're going to be mad. That means it's working. That means you are now changed something. If people are reacting differently to your boundary, that goes away really fast. As soon as you say no, to start saying no to people, they learn that you can say no, and they stop getting so triggered. It just becomes normal that you have boundaries, especially if it's the same thing they're asking for over and over. They might even stop asking you to do certain things that you always say no to, and then you don't even have to set the boundaries. So it's great. So that's good. It's natural for there to be a reaction in the beginning. I found my wife's reaction wasn't as strong as I thought it'd be. And then even when there is a reaction, I feel good about myself. And that's the critical thing to being, grounded and stable, and serving from a full place. So check out the Book of Boundaries. Check out the Fair Play episode on learning more about the Fair Play model. That one's really great for learning this. Check out the episode I did recently on why men feel unappreciated and how to work with that energy of appreciation. And please drop me a comment on one boundary that you want to set, one thing that you wished you would have said no to that you were asked for recently. Share this with dads in your life, and please like and subscribe. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel or to their podcast channel. That really helps me reach more dads. Thanks so much, and stay dedicated.